Thank you for joining us this afternoon for this webinar on Lewa Wilderness. I am joined by Miranda Simpson, and she is Sales and Marketing Manager based out at the Lodge, and she also manages horse safaris. So just before we get started, a bit of housekeeping. The webinar will be recorded, and we'll upload it to our YouTube channel, and send it out in a follow-up towards the end of the week. And we'll also have a Q&A at the end. So any questions, do just pop them in the chat box, and Miranda will answer them at the end. But yeah, so Miranda, over to you.
Thank you very much, Orla. So yeah, I have been with the Lewa Wilderness team for nearly 8 years now. I came out to Kenya for 3 months, volunteering with horses on a nearby farm, and then met the Lewa Wilderness team, came here for what I had planned was for 2 years and never went home. So it really is a very special and magical place. So just to give you a little bit of a background of where we are. So we're up in what's referred to as northern Kenya, but on a map, we're sort of smack bang in the middle within the Laikipia Plateau, but we're over there on the sort of most eastern side. The Conservancy itself, so we're the original lodge within the Conservancy, and we are 64,000 acres of really wonderful wilderness. There are 4 other lodges within the Conservancy, but what is really lovely is we are all limited as to how many bed nights we can sell per night. So there's never more than a certain number of guests in the Conservancy at one time, which just, maintains a really lovely sort of exclusive feel to the place. And we also have our own airstrip, Lewa Downs, which all of the commercial flights, SafariLink, Air Kenya, they do fly into on a scheduled basis daily. And then also, of course, private charters can fly into that airstrip. So Lewa Wilderness, we kind of hope that we are something for everybody. We get guests, whether they're, multi-generational groups, honeymooners, and also, solo travelers. It is a really sort of home from home atmosphere. So super special. We sort of sit in the edge of the sort of Eastern Miranda Valley. So this gives you a little bit of an idea of how the lodge sprawls out across the valley. The main house is over there on the right. And then you can see some of the cottages sort of heading off into the trees with beautiful Mount Kenya in the background. The lodge does centre all around the Craig family home. So it is still very much their home. They still run the property. It's now sort of 3rd, 4th generation who are running the property. It's, everybody's involved. The house is somewhere that guests can come and relax, have a cup of tea, check in, all of that kind of thing. So it's a really lovely space to sit, take in the sort of wilderness around you. We've got some lovely sundowner decks, and we do have a fence that runs all the way around the property, which stops anything big and unfriendly from coming too close in. But these views all look out onto sort of open space, so you never know what's going to be on the hills beyond, especially from the sort of open dining room. And we invite everybody to join us at the communal table. So meals are all hosted, whether it's by myself, our manager, Karamushu, who's been with the lodge for sort of 20+ years. So it was a really fun sort of atmosphere. We have the lovely bar and seating area, so we meet guests in here before lunch, before supper, just to sort of check in, organise their days, and make sure their stay is going according to plan. We can also do private dining, so whether guests would like to do one or all of their meals a little bit separate, we're also very happy to facilitate that. Lots of lovely facilities, so tennis court, newly refurbished gym, swimming pool, so lots and lots to keep everybody busy and active while they're away on holiday. So we have 2 different accommodation types within the lodge. We've got our hillside cottages and we've got our garden cottages. So our rates are based on the room type accommodation. And just to give you a little bit of an idea of the layout, the hillside rooms are a little bit further away from the main areas. So something to bear in mind, especially if guests maybe have mobility issues or would feel more comfortable being closer to the main areas. So lots of different configurations. All of our rooms have got the same facilities. They've all got similar design, but they are all a little bit quirky in their own special ways. The 2-bedroom garden cottages are fantastic for families, especially if you have younger children. We don't have an age limit. The beauty of these rooms is you can open the doors and everybody is very safe within the garden. and the hillside cottages. So these are a little bit further away. These have got the lovely panoramic views of the valley beyond, and you also have your own private veranda with these ones. What I forgot to mention with the 2-bedroom garden cottages is you do have a shared sitting room. So you've got a king room on one side, which is ensuite, and then you also have a twin room on the other side, which is also ensuite, and then you have a lovely shared sitting area in the middle. So again, if you like to do any private dining, or if families would like to do an early supper, that's also very possible. We do have one cottage which is the furthest away from the main areas. This one has its own plunge pool. It's kind of one of a kind. It's got a king room, and then it does have a small twin room. So this is great for families with maybe slightly older children. We just don't recommend younger children, only because of the drop-off from the veranda. And we'd also not recommend 2 couples, because the king room is significantly bigger than the twin room opposite the sitting room. So our newest project, which is very exciting. So this opened about 3 weeks ago. So we have created a space where groups can call their own whilst they're staying here with us. So it'll be exclusive use only. We can sleep up to 10 guests here. So although we have grown in physical size, we are not expanding in availability. So like I mentioned at the start, we are still limited as to how many bed nights we can have per night. And this has to be distributed throughout Lewa Wilderness, our main camp, Private Wilderness, our new camp, and also Walking Wild, which are our camel safaris. So this is further down the valley from the main camp. You can't see each other from either or. So you are completely independent. You've got your own kitchen, you've got your own chefs. All of the activities that are on offer at Lewa Wilderness will be on offer here at Private Wilderness. And there are 5 cottages in total. What's lovely about the cottages is they are all the same. So there's also one big main house. So this is a lovely space with your own dining room, different verandas, a swimming pool, and has beautiful views of the valley just beyond, and a cozy seating area down the other side. The dining room, what's really fun and special about this, and this whole project really, is a lot of everything has been made right here in our workshops. So all of the furniture within the dining room has been made here on site by hand by our carpenters, which is quite a lovely touch. And it has been a really family involved project to create this space where everybody, where one group at a time can come and have complete independency whilst they're staying here with us. And yeah, lovely infinity pool with beautiful views of the waterfall. So like I said, all the cottages are the same. They are all standalone, so you do have a little bit of sort of privacy and independence while you are staying there with your group. All of them have got the same items, same log burners and lovely fabrics. And what is fun about here is all of them can either be made into a twin, or they can be made into a double, with lovely ensuite bathrooms as well. So we're really enjoying having this. Like I said, we've had 3 groups through here so far. It's just been really fun, and either they are hosted, it can be fully hosted if that's what the group would like. If they prefer a little bit more privacy, then that can also be arranged. It's completely there for whatever that group would like to use at that time. We do have an age limit for this property, only because of where the lodge is situated and with the swimming pool and all of that. And also Lewa Wilderness just lends itself so well to families that we've decided to put an age limit on this one. It is 10 people maximum. The rates are based on a minimum of 6 adults. That's not to say that 2 adults or 4 adults can't book it, but it is all based on a base rate of 6 adults and with a minimum stay of 3 nights. So the activities. So like I mentioned, Lewa is, we're very spoilt. We are home to all of the big 5. Rhinos are what we are really known for. We've got a fantastic population of both black and white rhinos. In terms of conservation, this is sort of the heart of rhino conservation. And all the different activities as well. So we kind of pride ourselves on being the hub of all activities, especially here on Lewa. So whether guests want to get out of the car and try a camel ride, whether they want to head out on foot and go for a bushwalk, we've got in-house trained rangers or in-house trained walking guides here with us. We do try and encourage people to get out of the car and just do something a little bit different, see the wildlife from a different perspective, and also from the horses. So as Orla mentioned at the start, I also manage our stables, and this is like a 2-minute walk from the main lodge, and we've sort of got horses for everybody. So whether you're a beginner and you just want to head out on the plains and do a shorter ride, try and get close to giraffe and zebra, things like that, or if you're an experienced rider, then we can also head further afield and try and find some of the slightly larger animals and go exploring into the valleys. So again, with the walking, the camels and the horses, it's just a really fun way to, yeah, like I said, try something a little bit different whilst you're here on safari. I've mentioned families a few times. It is a family home. We're very used to having, kids here, and also tailoring our activities in order to meet their needs or their timings or their routine or whatever it is. So whether it's tailoring a walk to be a little bit shorter and within sort of a safer area within the fence, we can go crab fishing. We've also got an organic vegetable garden, which is a really fun place to wander around and also just learn about organic farming here in Kenya, because here on the equator, it's pretty amazing what we can grow, especially when it's dry and dusty. During our dry season, it's pretty magical to go down to the garden where it's green and lush, and there's mango trees and carrots and all sorts of things growing in the garden there. Which leads me on to one of our other products, which is our wilderness farmhouse. So this is a fully immersive farm to fork experience. We send the guests down, and all the gardeners and the chefs, they pick the fresh ingredients there and then. And we have a wonderful farm kitchen where guests can sit, enjoy a drink, and watch their lunch be prepared for them. So it is an additional cost, but it is, like I said, it's just quite fun and surprising to see what we are able to grow and what we are able to produce straight from our farm. So all of the fresh produce from the farm does supply the lodge, and we've got, cows, chickens, all sorts. So we try and be as self-sustaining as possible. Fly camping is another really magical experience that guests can enjoy whilst they're staying with us. So especially if they just want to have that little bit of a taste of that one night out under the stars, throw it back to the old days of traditional safaris. It is $170 for 2024, on top of your standard room rate, only because we do hold the room at the lodge. Generally, guests would leave at tea time. They can walk there, they can game drive there. If they are experienced riders, they can also ride there. They arrive at camp, it's all there ready for you. You can have a hot bucket shower, and then a 3-course meal will be cooked for you on the open fire. And then you can wake up, have a good cup of coffee, and head back to the lodge for a good breakfast. So again, a really fun activity for those who just want to have a little bit of adventure. Conservation, like I also mentioned, is sort of at the heart of all that we do. So we really try and encourage the guests to head over to the Lewa headquarters and have a talk by one of their rangers. So whether it's one of the female rangers, so Purity at the front there was Lewa's very first female ranger. They're a great team of girls. And also the anti-poaching dogs. So if the dogs are available for a demonstration, guests are also able to go and view that. And it's just a really fun way for them to be able to see what their trip is contributing towards, and to sort of understand the sheer sort of size of what is going on here at Lewa in terms of protecting all of our wonderful wildlife. We also have 2 day trips. So Northern Kenya is wonderfully diverse. So whether they want to go 2 hours one way and you're in a sort of the Ngarandari forest, which is very jungly, sort of bright blue waterfalls that you can go swimming in, or whether you go 2 hours another way and you head off into the north where it's much drier, much more arid, and go to one of our Maasai village cultural experiences. We also have our sister company, which is Lewa Wilderness. So this is all based out of our airstrip, and Lewa Wilderness is able to organize private charters. We can also do scenic flights, and also in partnership with Scenic Air, we also have Scenic Wilderness. So the private charters are what they say on the tin, fully flexible, can fly guests almost anywhere within Kenya. And our shared charter goes direct daily from the Masai Mara to Lewa. And it just enables you a little bit more flexibility, and also to be able to put the Mara at the start of an itinerary, which a lot of the shared charters don't currently offer. Not shared charters, the scheduled charters, sorry. They quite often put Laikipia at the start, whereas this offers you the opportunity to be able to put the Mara at the start of your trip. It's very comfortable, executive seating, and very time efficient in terms of no stopover in Nairobi. Our scenic flights as well, again, an amazing way to explore northern Kenya. The Roteti Elephant Orphanage is probably our most popular. Head off in the morning, you take a packed breakfast with you, you have breakfast under the wing of your aircraft, and then you have a talk by the Roteti Rangers about all the work that they're doing up there, and then you return here sort of mid-morning. Peaks of Mount Kenya is also very spectacular, and then a low-level sundowner where you fly sort of more north towards the Matthews Range, land at a remote airstrip, and have a lovely gin and tonic or whatever you fancy before returning back to the lodge just before dusk. Two of our slightly more adventurous scenic flights are heading way into the north, up into the Sukuta Valley and Lake Turkana, and also our Jade Sea Fishing Safari. So these are for those who really want to go exploring, keen fishermen. It's pretty magical all the way out there. Our other sister company is Walking Wild. So this is a mobile safari company. And so everything is loaded onto the camels. It's totally on foot. You head off into the most remote and diverse parts of the Conservancy, sometimes to places where like the cars can't get to. It's definitely for those who are seeking adventure. The camp is very comfortable, but it is very lightweight. So you have absolutely everything that you need, but nothing more is the way I phrase it. And you can be walking up to sort of 10, 12 kilometers a day. We try and avoid the heat of the day, get the walking done early, arrive at camp, have a bit of a rest, and then maybe do another walk that afternoon. So a really magical way just to kind of explore on foot, and yeah, hang out with our wonderful team. So it's all very, very relaxed, very comfortable, like I said, but yeah, definitely very lightweight and easy for the camels to carry. And yeah, that's just sort of us in a nutshell. It is a bit of a lot of information, but if anybody's got any questions, I'd be very happy to answer them.
Thanks so much, Miranda. That was awesome. It's so nice seeing like all those activities because it was this time last year when I arrived out to Lewa. So I can see a couple of questions in the chat, and do feel free to pop in any more if you have any. So Martha has asked, which I think you then answered, is there a minimum age of children you take at the lodge?
So at Wilderness, no, we don't have a minimum age. And we also, if we have got younger children, we can do sort of lots of Maasai warrior training. We can have the girls, they can do early supper in the garden cottages, and then one of the girls can sit in with them, and the parents can always head on down to the bar and the dining room and enjoy supper. And if any of the kiddies squeak, then we just come and get you. So we are, like I said, family home. We're very used to having children, and very set up for it. So
awesome, thank you. Sylvia has asked, what is the rack rate?
I'm now having a complete mind blank about what our rack rates are. So they are all a little bit different depending on the room type accommodation, but we can definitely send those to you unless all of you got them at
I
hand.
have the from price rack rate for the lodge is 1,110 per person per night. And then for private wilderness, the base rate during the regular season is 8,370. But we will send out the rack rates for both private and Lewa Wilderness in the follow-up. So Martha has asked, do guests have their own private vehicle per room, or do they share with other guests?
So we always do our best to give a private vehicle. However, unless they have paid for exclusive use of a vehicle, then we can never guarantee it unless it is a booking of 5 or more, and then they are given their own exclusive use of the vehicle free of charge within their booking.
Thank you. And Barbara has asked, are the walking safaris private or do you make small groups?
The walking safaris are private. There is a minimum of 2 packs, and yeah, it's for about two or 3 nights.
And Martha has asked, are all the walking safaris, horseback riding, camel, etc., all included in the rate, or are they an additional charge?
Yeah, everything is included in the base rate. The only additional activities are things like the full day trips, the wilderness farmhouse lunches, any of our scenic flights. Otherwise, everything, all the house wines, spirits, all drinks, food is included within the rate. And they can horse ride as much as they want. They can camel ride as much as they want. There's no limit once they're here.
Awesome, thank you. Well, I can't see any more questions, but if you do think of anything after the thought, you can always pop Miranda a message or ourselves at Small World Marketing. Just one more. Um, Sorry, Gina has asked, is there a minimum age for walking?
We generally say minimum age of 12. However, it can be up to the parent's discretion. Especially with the walking safaris, we are a little bit stricter on it, only because you do have to cover quite a lot of distance to get from camp to camp, because the camp does move each night to a new location. So yeah, with the walking safaris, we generally say minimum 12. Same with the horse riding. However, we can do like pony rides within the fence where it's nice and safe in a slightly more controlled manner with younger children.
Awesome, thank you. Um, okay, well, I think that's it. So as I said, you can always pop us a message and we'll get back to you. And as I said, the webinar will be recorded and we'll send it out towards the end of the week with everything you need to sell Lewa Wilderness. So thank you, Miranda, for the presentation. And yeah, have a good rest of your day.